show you what to type. This one shows you what's happening on the other side of the screen. And once you see it, every prompt you write gets sharper. In the next 5 minutes, we are going under the hood, the agentic loop, the tools, the safety net, and the four habits that separates people getting okay results from people getting incredible ones. I am Musa. Let's get into it. So, what is Cloud Code? Three things makes Cloud Code different from regular AI chatbots. One, it's agentic. It doesn't just answer, it takes action on your machine. Two, it's terminal native. It runs the CLI you already use, no editor, switch, and everything. Three, it's project aware. It sees your whole code base, not just the open files. That's why the code it writes actually feels like it belongs. Next, we'll talk about agentic loop, which is very important concept in cloud code. So what is it an agentic loop? So here is the core idea of the agentic loop. Every time you give Claude a task, it works through three phases. First phase, it gathers the context, which means search file, reading code, understanding how things connect. Next, it does take the action, editing files, running commands, and calling tools. And in the end, the third one, which is verify the results. So the verify results task including running tasks, checking output, confirming the changes works. Since it's a loop, not the straight line, Cloud decide if it needs another pass, it can do that. However, you can interrupt any point by doing an escape button as well. Next, let's see loop in action. So, let's make the concrete. Say you tell Claude, fix the failing test. Watch what happens. Step 1, it runs your test suits to see what's actually failing. 2, reads the error output. 3, searches your codebase for the relevant source files. 4, read them to the build context. 5, edit the files to fix the bug. And 6, run the test again to verify. Each steps give Claude new information that shapes the next one. And that's the loop in action. Next, we'll talk about two engines, about the Claude Code engines. So, this loop runs on two engines. One is the model, which is basically a brain. Claude itself does a reasoning, and you could use a different model like Sonnet and Opus. Sonnet handles most coding tasks. Switch to Opus for a complex architectural decisions. And the tools, without tools, Claude can only respond with the text, right? With them, it can act as well. So models think, tool act together, a coding agent. Next, let's talk about five categories of Claude built-in tools. So it comes with five built-in tools. One is file ops operations. So where you could read, edit, create, recognize, search, find, file, and grab the files as well. Third one is execution. So you could run shell commands and test servers. Third is web, where you could do searches, look at up the errors and other stuff, and then the code intelligence, and that's where you could basically look at the errors on your code or look at the code suggestions as well. These five things together are why Claude can do real engineering work, not just write snippets. So, what Claude sees in your project? So, when you type Claude in a directory, what does it actually sees? It sees three things: your project file, a file in your directory and subdirectory, plus the files elsewhere your permissions are. So Claude won't see anything where you would not allow If you don't have given the permission, Claude won't see that. Then it's your terminal. Any command you could run, build tools, git packages, manager, system utility scripts. If you can do it from the command line, Claude can do it. So you have to be careful of how and what access you give. Your git state, current branch, uncommitted changes, and recent commit changes as well. Then a very important file, Claude.md, a markdown file where you store project specific instructions and conventions and context that Claude should know every session. So we will discuss about Claude.md in detail in later section as well. And then we got auto memory. Learning Claude saves automatically as you work, like project pattern and your preferences. The first 200 lines or 25 KB of memory, whichever comes first, load at the start of the each session. Extension you configure, MCP server for external services, skill for workflows, subagent for delegate work, and Claude in Chrome for browser extensions as well, interactions as well. Let's talk about context. Now, all of that has to live somewhere, and that somewhere is called context window, a very important context in AI word. Think of it as Claude short-term memory for the session. It holds your conversation history, file content, command outputs, your Claude.md, auto memory, and any skills that gets loaded. As you work, it fills up. So very important how to use your context carefully. The bigger your task, the more goes in. And here are the things. When it gets too full, instruction from early in conversation can quietly get lost. And that's where you may have thought about, like, see that the Claude forgets about some of the previous conversation, and that's exactly is the reason. It's because of the context. And if you want to see what's in your context space, just do /context. Now, next, we will talk about how when context fills up, what happens. So what happens if the fills up? You got 3 layers of help. First, automatic compaction. Claude clear old tool outputs first, then summarizes the convention if needed. Your request and key code stays, but early instruction can get lost, which is why you put persistent rules in Claude.md. Second, targeted compaction. Run slash compact with focus, like focus on the API changes and your control what stays. And the third, isolation. Skills isolation means you could use more of skills and subagents. So skills load on demand, so they don't take up space until used, and subagent run in their own fresh context. Their work never blot yours, but that's why subagents are cleanest way to handle long session. In other sessions or other chapters, I will be speaking about a lot more details, how skills and sub-agent work and what are the best use cases you could use for the sub-agents and skills as well. Next, we'll talk about session. Sessions are independent. A quick note on the session is, each session start fresh. Claude doesn't remember the conversation from yesterday, but your project remembers through Claude.md and auto memory. Need to pick where you left off? Just start it Claude continue when you started. Want to branch off and try a different approach without losing the original? Claude fork session is another command you could use it. Next, let's talk about safety checkpoints. There are 2 safety checkpoint mechanisms you should know about that. A checkpoint, every file edit is reversible. Claude snapshots file before changing them. Press escape twice to rewind. And permission modes. By default, Claude asks before write and shell commands as well. Hit Shift plus Tab to cycle modes. Auto accept for trusted files edits. plan mode to explore, read only first, or full auto if you want hands off. Next, talk about same engine. Same engine, many surfaces. So obviously, Claude can run on local, Claude on or remotely as well. The four habits which will turn save you a lot of hours. One, be specific upfront. Reference file, mention constraint, point to example, vague prompt, cost its iterations. Give Claude something to verify, test, screenshot expected outputs as well. Plan before you code. Hit Shift plus Tab twice for plan mode and let Claude explore first. And delegate, don't dictate. Give context and direction, then trust Claude to figure it out the details as well. So the recap, that's our architecture or model plus tool running in the loop with access to your project. You in control of every step. Now you understand why Claude works the way it does. In the next video, we will be talking about more about skills and subagents and all more in deeper concepts which you won't hear on the other videos. But on apart from that, I'm also working on a real Golang project where you could create a Golang project from Claude Code from the start. Thank you. I'll see you there.